All right, guys, welcome back to another market update video. All right, so we'll uh, talk about the indices. We'll talk about the global indices as well, and we'll see uh, where we are headed for the next week and for the post Diwali holidays as well. So so first of all, always we want to see what sort of range we are currently trading in. So let's look at the global market first. All right, so if you see US 30, all right, US 30, basically Dow Jones. If you see Dow Jones, what Dow Jones is doing right now is, so if you remember last time we talked about this range being traded in Dow Jones, all right. So this range was being traded in Dow Jones. The level was around 30,500, and the lows were obviously the 52-week lows, which it made in the previous down move. All right. So now what has happened is, if you see, this was the demand zone which was created, the previous base around 30,100. All right. So this demand zone right here around 30,100 is what we were looking at for the test of the up move which happened here, right? So now a good thing which has happened right now is, so give me 1 second. All right. So this is the 50 daily moving average as well, as I always discuss the 50 daily moving average. So the good thing here is, if you see, this was an entire base right here. All right. This was an entire supply zone. We have moved from the lows of this base to the high of this base and now into this supply. All right. And we are holding the demand zones on the way up, which is a very positive sign. Now, what you have to look for is, you have to look for the previous bigger distribution base, which was this one right here. All right, around the same level as last day's high, which is Friday's high. All right. So now there can be two possible moves in Dow Jones here. What I was expecting is, I was expecting some sort of drift down, which we talked about in the previous video as well. So if I just clear everything out, I was expecting a drift down into this demand. Obviously, I did not expect it will just go straight up. I was expecting some sort of drift down, and this also happened in the meanwhile as well. So this was the demand zone from where we started to go up. All right, it is inside this previous base itself, which looks like a candle, looks like a inverted hammer or some sort of that candle on the daily chart. All right, so if you see this candle right here. All right, so we have tested and we have moved up. So now the next step basically is to mark the base from where we have broken out, and this is the base from where we have broken out. I'm just marking the bases roughly, so uh, do not take these markings very seriously. Obviously, the view is there, but I'm just marking the base roughly using the endpoints of this entire move. All right, so we have moved out of this base and we have made one demand zone here as well. All right, just around the high of the previous base, which is around 30,800, that level. All right, right now we are at 30,150 something. So now, if you see, we have entered into these areas of supply now. All right, this supply which I was talking about, the high of this base right here. All right, so now what I'll be focusing on is, I'll be waiting for a slow drift down again, something like this, right? And then maybe a constructive base here to help for another breakout. All right, so my reference point is clearly this supply now. All right, and this demand zone. If the index breaks this demand zone, I wouldn't take a long at this demand. I would wait for these supplies to get clear out, which will be fresh supplies if the demand zone gets broken. All right, but as of now, these are the two levels in Dow Jones. It's around 30,150 to 30,200, and the demand zone is around 30,700 something. All right, this entire range right here. So this is the view on Dow Jones or US 30. Let's look at the weekly chart as well. If you see the weekly chart, we're actually moving up from the COVID breakout base. All right, so this was the level from which Dow Jones started to break out of the pre-COVID highs. All right, so this is where we have found demand again. Obviously, this was the election, US election base as well, which got made in 2020 November, and now we have broken. We are going back up, and if you see, there is a weekly supply level right here. All right, so So there's a high chance of a pullback from this level. All right, in Dow Jones there's a high chance of a pullback. We might go on to test out this base, and then we'll see what happens from here on, if we go up or if we continue on the downside. All right, so same with US 100 as well. It's actually a bit weak in the sense that it's not pulling back up to this supply right here. It's not pulling back up to this supply, so this is still very weak. All right, so uh, it might also go up. If you see what this is doing is, this has tested this supply once here, tested the demand once here, and now it's trying to go up. All right, so we might also see some sort of up move here, or if Dow Jones starts failing, then this might also fail from the supply again. All right, so there is a lot of supply at the current level. Obviously, every time we make a big move in any sort of index, given how the structure currently is, we are bound to come across, we bound to go into some sort of daily or weekly supply. All right, so the US 500 is a bit better. We have tested the supply. We're trying to break out, but obviously there is a lot of supply overhead as well. All right. So Dow Jones might pull back here. All right. We have had a big move. This is the leading index, so I will only focus on Dow Jones, and the US 500 and US 100 will lag Dow Jones currently. All right. Now let's look at the chart of Nifty 50. All right, Nifty is the leader among all the global markets currently, especially the US markets. So if I add Dow Jones on the same chart as Nifty, all right, so if you see, this is the chart of Dow Jones and this is the chart of Nifty. So if you see, we we did not pull back in this phase, right? We were just sideways, and now we are breaking out with the US market, and we are also trying to break out of this supply along with Dow Jones as well. All right, the this supply here as well is the same here, right? But overall structure, obviously, we are much stronger because we have been holding this base right here. All right, so this range right here is being has been holding, and now we're trying to break out. So Nifty is also running into these supplies now, which is the previous high supply of the uptrend which ended in August, right? So August, September, mid September. So now we might also see a pullback in Nifty as well, right? And then you might get more long opportunities given how the global markets are also shaping up. So if we'll just have a look at the Nifty spot chart instead of the Nifty CFD. Let's look at the Nifty spot. Let's look at Nifty futures. All right. So Nifty futures, if you see, we had talked about this supply. All right. We had talked about this supply. This will be broken out on Monday. If we gap up, if it stays uh, if it stays the same, it will be broken out in the next trading session, and then we'll run into the higher supplies which are here and here as well. All right. One thing I want to discuss with you guys is, whenever you see after a good bit of correction, whenever you see a proper base is being formed, all right, so whenever you see that a proper base is being formed, if you see here, all demand zones are tested. This demand is tested here, this demand is tested here, and then we start going up. We usually go into some sort of a multi-week bull run. All right, if you see here as well, this is a correction, and in this part at the right hand side of the base here, all the zones were tested. This zone was tested, then again this demand was tested, and then we tested out the base high as well, and now we started to go up. All right, so whenever you see these kinds of opportunities in the market where every bit of range is completed, do not take it for granted. All right, you can see a big up legs from there on. All right, so if you see somewhere here as well, this demand is tested, everything is tested here, and then we start to break out. It also happened at the start of the 2003, sorry, it also happened at the start of the 2003 bull run. So if I just give me 1 second. Yeah, so so let's look at that as well quickly. Yeah, so if you see at the bottom right here, after a huge period of correction, this is where we started. All right, so if you see, this supply was right here, it tested the demand, and then we started to go up, and finally we started to stabilize above the 50 daily moving average. So uh, your plan of action in the market should be to take all moves seriously, because we don't know what kind of move is going to develop. We don't know if we're going to go up this much, or if we're going to basically double up from here on, right? So if you see, from this level, to here, Nifty almost move 110% without even breaking the 50 daily moving average. All right. So this is a very, very sharp up move. We never know when this will come up. All right. So what your duty is, it is to be ready when this thing is about to happen. All right. So whenever there's a proper base build up in the index, I always try to uh, take it very seriously and to be prepared to buy a lot of stocks, or maybe I prepare to invest in the index very, very heavily. All right. So if you see, every time it forms a base around the 50 DMA and we start going up, I am prepared to buy here, all of these parts, because I don't know where a bull run will start. All right. I'm basically a trader. I'm not a forecaster. So I will trade what is available to me, or what is being shown to me at the given moment. All right. So your main plan of action should always to be should be to able to catch these moves. All right, catch all of these big swings which you see in the market. This is what you need to focus on. All right, and this is not very hard. If you see, it's not very hard. You just use some zones, use some understanding of zones, and you can be safe from all this. You can even short here. All right, you can short here as well. So all of these come up fairly regularly in the market. All right, so look at this as well. So these are very simple shorting opportunities which can make you a lot of money, right? So your goal as a trader should be to be ready for all these moves. All right, all of this. So this one as well from the 50 daily moving average here as well. All right, this is the time where you will outperform the market. All right, because I know that I'm not getting caught in this fall. I know that I'm not getting caught in this fall, but I know that I'll be able to catch most of this move here, right? So this is where the outperformance builds. Suppose you buy Nifty here, all right, and you're able to exit somewhere here. Now, when that happens, or maybe you're exiting Nifty when the 50 daily moving average is getting broken. So after an entire year, what happens from this level to this point? Nifty has basically given zero returns. All right, Nifty has given zero returns, but how much did you make? You made somewhere around 8 to 10%. If you just bought the index, if you bought stocks, then obviously you made much more. But you see, even when Nifty hasn't given any sort of returns, by simply buying the index at the right time, you made 8 to 10%. And again, in the next leg, you'll be ready to buy again. All right, so you'll be safe from this. You'll be in this, and most importantly, you'll be safe from stuff like this. All right, you'll be safe from falls like this, and you will get in again here, right? So just use you just use the 50 DMA as your guiding tool. It's very, very helpful. It's very effective. If you're able to combine it with your price action analysis, it will do you wonders if you're able to do it consistently. All right, let's quickly have a look at Bank Nifty as well. So Bank Nifty, obviously the leading sector in the market. If you see, this is actually still an uptrend. So we talked about it. We haven't broken the base. We're still in an uptrend, right? And this is doing its thing. So again, Bank Nifty is buyable on dips. If we see a big down candle here, then we'll wait for these zones to show up, uh, price action to show up around these zones to see how we set up. All right. So clear levels here in Bank Nifty. This is the highest supply right here. There's one supply right here, or you can basically take this entire area as your supply because it's just a bunch of candles. So basically a big range, right? And then there is a base here. There's a base here. There's also a demand zone right here, right? So this level is around 40,300. All right. So this is around 40,300. I'll just type it out for people who are not, who are not very familiar with demand supply zones. Just a second. All right. Yeah. So this is the demand zone here. So if this starts to break, if this level starts to break on Bank Nifty futures, be a bit careful because then the next level will come around 39,500. All right. So yeah. So this is the view for the market going into the coming week and the festive season as well. So make sure that you are aware of what you're doing in the market. All right, don't take unnecessary trades. Just wait for the index to set up on the daily chart, and you will see a lot of stocks outperforming here. So if you've not seen, if you've not traded the banking stocks recently, I'll just show you some examples. So you see, Axis Bank was outperforming Bank Nifty very heavily when Bank Nifty was sideways. So if I add the chart of Bank Nifty, if you see, look at this part in Bank Nifty. It's sideways to down. Axis Bank is actually going up and chasing the highest supply. All right. And then when Bank Nifty starts going up, Axis Bank also starts to break out. So people will tell you this is because of earnings and everything, but clearly it was being shown here that there is some buying interest. So I would have bought Axis Bank even at this demand zone if it dipped into the earnings. All right. So just keep following the strong sectors, strong stocks. You will definitely land in some nice names uh, which move big. All right. So we'll end the video here, and make sure that you like and subscribe. Also, you can comment if you have any doubts, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good weekend, and also have a good festive season. All right then.